another acronym for the day. It is the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, there's a bunch of things, and it's just to make sure that there's the stuff on your credit supposed to be on your credit. In the context of this conversation, I'm mostly going to talk about in the bankruptcy context of, because it's, like I said, you get that clean slate, so you want to make sure that credit bureaus are cleaning up your credit. So we'll talk about some of the things they do incorrectly that hurt your credit, and if you fix them, they'll help your credit. Discharge debts are not listed as discharged or with a zero balance after a bankruptcy. So if your debt is discharged in bankruptcy, it needs to say discharged in bankruptcy. It doesn't, and it needs to say it's $0 is due. It doesn't need to say there's a $4,000 loan, $0 is due because it's been discharged. Some creditors, we don't know why they do this, but they continue to do hard pulls on your credit. Once your debt's discharged, your relationship with that creditor is over. You don't have to talk to them anymore. They don't have to talk to you anymore. They're supposed to remove all bad items from your credit, and they don't have the right to pull your credit, but they do. And hard pulls on your credit lower your credit score. So if you see that happening, make sure you tell them to quit and to take it off your credit. Some discharge debts are reported as a charge-off. A charge-off is what happens, like, say I had $4,000 on a credit card and I just didn't pay it. The credit card company would write that off as a charge-off. A charge-off is a negative event on your credit. Or if you settled with them, they would write the amount that you didn't pay as a charge-off. It's a negative credit event. If it's discharged in bankruptcy, they're not allowed to do that. It needs to say discharged in bankruptcy, not charge-off. So make sure that's right. Now, this is a weird one that happens in Chapter 13. So a secured creditor says they owe you money. So here, I'll have to talk about a little thing here. Now, Chapter 13, you can do what's called a cram down. If you bought a car more than 910 days before you filed, and you filed, you only have to pay what the car is worth, and you can keep the car. So, say 2.5 years ago, you were $10,000 upside down on a car, and you traded it in. So you bought this new $45,000 car, and straight out the gate, you owe $55,000 on it, right? And then 2.5 years after you do that, you decide to file bankruptcy. Say when you file bankruptcy, you owe $40,000 on it, but it's worth $25,000. So you're $15,000 upside down. Well, if you file a Chapter 13, you only have to pay that $25,000. So you get to save that $15,000. So you pay that $25,000. Chapter 13's over. You get your discharge. The car's yours, but the creditor is still reporting that you owe that $15,000 in a secured debt. It's not secured, it's unsecured now because of the bankruptcy code. So it should be a $15,000 unsecured debt that was discharged in bankruptcy. And that's how you need your credit card. That's how it needs to roll. You don't owe it, it's out, it's gone. So just make sure that that's correct. Weird things happen with spouses. Okay, only people that file bankruptcy get included in the bankruptcy. One spouse can file and the other one doesn't file, not included. Sometimes the credit bureaus will mess up and they'll say that the spouse filed and the spouse did not file. You can get this fixed, and if they don't fix it, you can sue them for it. But that's one thing. And then the debts, sometimes if you have a co-debt with a spouse, the debt can be listed as included in bankruptcy, but it should not be listed that they filed bankruptcy, and those are different. And then reaffirmation happens in Chapter 7. So like in Chapter 7, your debts are gone. So if you have a car and you want to keep that car, you reaffirm that debt. That says, even though I filed bankruptcy, I still want to keep this and I still want to do this. Sometimes they'll list the debts on your, so say it is a car, file Chapter 7, you want to keep your car, you fill out a reaffirmation agreement, you reaffirm the debt, you keep the car, you keep making the payments, you're doing your job. They'll mistakenly list that debt as discharged in bankruptcy, and it's not. You reaffirmed it and you're still paying it, so that needs to be correct. So there's kind of the ways that, and if all this stuff is correct, your credit score is better. And so that's just one reason to take a peek at it, see what you need to do, but these are some common mistakes that credit bureaus make in reporting on your credit. Thanks. Appreciate you guys watching.